There is a strange habit most people have. When they feel misunderstood, they speak more. When they feel attacked, they argue harder. When they feel ignored, they explain themselves endlessly. But over many years of observing people and observing myself, I discovered something surprising. The people with the most control over their lives speak the least when it matters most. Silence is often misunderstood as weakness, but silence, when used consciously, is one of the greatest forms of power. Not because it dominates others, but because it reveals mastery over yourself. When I was a younger man, I believed intelligence meant having the right words for every situation. I believed wisdom meant proving my point clearly and convincingly. If someone disagreed with me, I felt the urge to defend my position immediately. And like many young men, I mistook reaction for strength. But life has a quiet way of teaching lessons we cannot learn from books. One day, I was sitting with an old mentor who rarely spoke during discussions. People around him debated passionately about business, philosophy, and life decisions. Opinions filled the room like noise in a crowded market. Yet he remained silent. At first, I thought he had nothing to contribute. Then, after a long pause, he spoke only one sentence. And suddenly the entire room became quiet. His words carried weight, because they came after observation. That day, I understood something important. When words are rare, they become valuable. When words are constant, they lose meaning. Most people speak not to communicate, but to release emotion. They argue when they feel threatened. They interrupt when they feel insecure. They explain themselves when they fear judgment. But silence allows you to see what emotion hides. When you remain quiet in a difficult moment, something interesting happens. You begin to observe rather than react. You notice tone, intention, patterns, and truths that noise would normally hide. Silence sharpens awareness, and awareness creates wisdom. There was another moment that shaped my understanding of silence. Many years ago, someone publicly criticized a decision I had made in business. My instinct was to respond immediately, to defend my reputation and explain the logic behind my choices. But something inside me said, "Wait." So I said nothing. Days passed, weeks passed. Eventually, the same people who doubted the decision began to understand the outcome on their own. If I had argued, the conversation would have become a battle of opinions. But silence allowed time to reveal the truth. Sometimes, the most powerful response is patience. Silence also protects your energy. When you argue with every opinion, defend every misunderstanding, and respond to every criticism, you slowly exhaust your mental clarity. But when you choose silence intentionally, you conserve attention for what truly matters. Not every comment deserves your explanation. Not every conflict deserves your participation. And not every misunderstanding deserves correction. One of the quiet lessons maturity teaches is this: peace is often more valuable than being understood. When you constantly try to prove your point, you place your identity in the hands of other people's approval. But when you become comfortable with silence, you reclaim that power. Your self-respect no longer depends on winning arguments. It depends on maintaining your character. Silence also strengthens your thinking. When your mind is not constantly speaking, it begins to reflect. You see your own emotions more clearly. You notice your own mistakes more honestly. And you respond to life with intention instead of impulse. That is why monks practice silence, not because they reject communication, but because they respect awareness. But let me be clear, silence does not mean avoiding truth. It does not mean hiding your voice or ignoring injustice. True silence is not fear. It is discipline. It is the ability to speak when words create value and remain quiet when words would only create noise. Over time, I discovered a simple rule that changed my interactions with people. Before speaking, ask yourself 3 questions. Is it true? Is it necessary? Is it kind? If the answer is no, silence will usually serve you better. When you practice this long enough, something unexpected happens. People begin to listen more carefully when you speak. Your words become thoughtful rather than reactive. Your presence becomes calm rather than chaotic. And your influence grows, not through force, but through clarity. In a noisy world, silence becomes rare, and anything rare becomes powerful. So tonight, before reacting to the next disagreement, the next criticism, or the next urge to prove yourself, pause, observe, let silence do what words often cannot. Because sometimes the strongest voice in the room is the one that knows when not to speak.